Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about imposter syndrome and feeling like an imposter as a witch. And this isn't necessarily just for witches who are practicing the craft more professionally or more out in the open. This can be for anybody who's on the witchcraft path. You can feel like you're just not a real witch, because there's so many stereotypes out there and so many beliefs about what a witch is that you may feel that you don't really fit the bill. Imposter syndrome in general is just characterized by feelings of self-doubt and the fear of exposure as a fraud, even though there may be evidence out there that contradicts that. You may still feel that way. So we're going to talk about that. Before we do that though, I'm Sandra. I'm the author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path. If you want to know anything about Wicca, witchcraft, tarot, shadow work, and magic, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, but you're just confused about all of the information out there and how you can learn the craft at a pace that you can keep up with, I have a free video. It is called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice, and there is a link in the description field below this video so that you can go and watch that video. So imposter syndrome has a number of different characteristics, and I'm going to go through pretty much all of them and then how they might relate to a witch. I was asked to do this video, and I've also heard other people around me have been talking about feeling imposter syndrome or experiencing it as well. So I thought it's time I did a video about it. One of the key characteristics of somebody who is more inclined towards imposter syndrome is this persistent self-doubt, that somehow you're just not good enough. You know, you're not as good as the other person. You're not good enough. Things that you do don't work enough. You might perceive them as not working or not working as they should. And so you start to doubt whether you're really a witch or not. And a lot of that just comes down to self-doubt. Another thing is the fear of failure. If the spell doesn't work, does that mean I'm not a witch? Does that mean I don't have magical powers? That kind of thing. Another characteristics can be that any success that you do have, you will actually attribute to external factors and not your own ability to be able to do magic or divination or whatever it is that you feel that you're fake around. So you might attribute it to, oh, that was just luck, or that was because these people helped me, or this person came in just at the right time and assisted me. You won't attribute it to anything that you've done yourself. And this just doesn't affect witches, of course. This affects people in all areas of their life, where this self-doubt, which is the main culprit, stops you from actually seeing what you're doing correctly and what you're actually getting right. Another characteristic is that any achievements you have made up until the present moment aren't acknowledged. It's like you've discounted them, you've forgotten about them. You know, maybe you've had a lot of success in the past and recently you've run into a bad patch, therefore you feel like an imposter when you've had success in the past. So it doesn't mean at all that you're an imposter. You've actually had, you've got evidence there that you are quite capable of doing what it is that you want to do, doing good tarot readings or being able to do magic. But it's discounting that, or even any achievements that you may have that are related to your witchcraft practice, you may just discount them. Once again, you may be attributing them to other people or other situations, but it's one of the characteristics of imposter syndrome, and this comes back to self-doubt, not believing that you qualify as a bona fide witch, okay? Another contributing factor can be your perfectionism. A lot of people who struggle with imposter syndrome can be a little bit perfectionistic. If things aren't perfect all of the time, if things aren't working out all of the time, if you don't get that accurate tarot reading every time. If your spell doesn't work every time, or it doesn't work the way you think it should every time, then you'll start to doubt yourself, because you're basing your self-esteem on events. Perfection doesn't exist. There's no such thing as perfection. It belongs really to the goddess and god, to the universe. It's not something that we human beings are really able to master. And we shouldn't be aiming for perfection either. We should be aiming for a job well done, and that doesn't mean it has to be perfect. A lot of witches will doubt whether they're doing something right or they're doing something wrong. You might doubt that you said the incantation the right way. You might need that constant affirmation from other people, or reinforcement from other people that you're doing something correctly. And that can be part of imposter syndrome too. Comparisonitis is probably one of the chief contributing factors to imposter syndrome. When we doubt ourselves and we don't have solid enough self-esteem, we look to others around us to compare ourselves to. And when you see a lot of the more popular witches out there, you see witches being portrayed in all manner of stereotypes, costumes, makeup, whatever. If you don't dress that way, or if you don't speak that way, or if you're not from this culture or that place, you may feel like you're not a real witch, because you're comparing yourself to other people who are also witches. But witches come in all different shapes and sizes and cultures and fashion. You know, we're very diverse people, and we don't just dress a certain way or wear certain types of makeup or come from, you know, various different necks of the woods. We come from very, very different places. We're not all good at the same things either. Each person often has a specialty and things that they're good at, or a number of specialties. So just because you may not be great at one aspect of the craft doesn't mean that you're not really good at other aspects of the craft. So comparing yourself to other people is something you should never do. Never compare yourself to other people, because you're just going to feed that self-doubt even more. It's like you're looking outside of yourself for confirmation that you are what you feel you actually are deep down inside. And the outside world can't confirm that. Only you can know that. Okay, so that's a self-esteem thing too. Another aspect is that if you have imposter syndrome, you may struggle with people giving you praise or giving you compliments about the work that you're doing. And that's something to take notice of. If you do give good tarot readings, for example, how do you feel when somebody compliments you for it? That kind of thing. Other aspects of imposter syndrome can be just that fear that somehow, somewhere, someone is going to expose you as being a fraud. And look, there's always going to be people out there, if you're more public about being a witch, that will want to compete with you, that will think they're better than you, that think that they're more powerful than you. There's always going to be those people out there, because that's the human ego and that's how it rocks, okay? But to let yourself be swayed by those people is, again, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. With imposter syndrome, you may be questioning your magical ability, because things might not be working out for you the way you think they should. Or you may be going through a bad patch, or you may just simply be new to the craft, and so you're not really familiar with how to do things well yet. Or you may do things differently, or you may have an interest in a particular area of witchcraft but not in other areas of witchcraft. Therefore, you're not a real witch because you're not interested in some of those other areas. There can be all manner of reasons why you feel that you're not a witch, okay? And it's really to look at, why do you think you're not? What do you think a witch is? What do you think a witch does? And why are you comparing yourself to those things? Why are those things part of your judgment about yourself as a witch? Your magic isn't always going to work. It doesn't always work. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. You might be going through a bad patch on a psychological level, so you're not really in a good position psychologically to be feeling in the wish fulfilled, to be really tuning into what it is you're doing magic for, because there's other stuff going on in your life. Your divination could be being hampered in some way by over-intellectualizing things. You might be using the wrong part of your brain for something. Or you may be doing magic that requires you to do certain things in the real world that you're not prepared to do, or that you don't want to do, or that you're just neglecting to do, and thinking that the magic's going to do it all, and not realizing that in the real world, magic doesn't work like it does in the movies. You've usually got to do things, and sometimes the things you have to do may be things that challenge you. It might be calling you to do something you just don't want to do, like put yourself out there in some way. And like if you're struggling to get a job, for example, it might be because you're not really putting yourself out there in the right way. So always think too of the physical, the ways you're limiting yourself in your behavior when it comes to your magic, that you may not be doing the things you need to do to allow that magic to flow through into completion. And that could be because you're going through a bad patch psychologically. It could be that you've got a lot of self-doubt, and so you're too scared to actually do the things you need to do to allow the magic to move. All of these things will contribute to your results of your magic. It's not that you're not a witch, it's just that you may not be applying yourself to the craft in the way that's going to give you the results that you need. And so all you need is maybe just a little bit of help from people to just help you out with whatever it is that you might be struggling with. We're all magical beings. We all have the capacity to do magic. We all have that in us. Some people are more skilled at some things than others. Some people are naturally very psychic. Some people can speak with spirits really easily, while others don't hear a thing. It's all, you try to connect to the spirit world, or try to connect to spirit guides, and all you hear is crickets. It's something you can build, you can learn to do those things, or you can choose to find things that you're better at. In the modern world, where witchcraft isn't just about working in the spirit world and doing spells and magic and healing and all of those things, that there's also the potential for a spiritual path as well, a way for you to connect to yourself, to connect to nature, to connect to the divine within and around yourself, to connect to the goddess and God. It becomes a spiritual path that can bring you the joy of connection to all of these things. And even if you struggle connecting to these things, if you struggle tuning into your intuition, if you struggle tuning into your inner guidance, if you struggle to connect in a way that you think you should be connecting, then find ways to help yourself connect more. You may find you actually are connecting, but because you're not connecting in the way that so-and-so says you should be connecting, you think you're not connecting when you are connecting. Learn about yourself. That's what the whole magical path is about. It's about know thyself, learning about who you are, what you came here to do. And if people tell you that you're not a witch, or you get the impression by a lot of more vocal people out there in social media that you're not a witch because you're not dressing a certain way, you don't speak a certain way, you don't do certain things, you're not from this place or that place, ask yourself, why? Why does dressing like that make you a witch? How does coming from this place or that place, how does that make you any less of a witch or more of a witch than anywhere else? There's so many different, I mean, witchcraft's existed pretty much in every culture around the world for a very, very long time. You know, ask yourself those questions and use this imposter syndrome experience as an opportunity for you to go into yourself and do that shadow work to find the confidence in your inner witch. And in any way that you feel that you might lack skill or knowledge, then you can always go and source that skill from somebody and learn from them. You know, source that knowledge from somebody and learn from them. I mean, that's the whole point of Mystery Witch School here, is to help you source that connection to your inner witch. You know, through the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy that I offer, the 12-month course, that's for you to really get in touch with your inner witch on that really deep inner level. It's about connecting, you know, first and foremost. The magical stuff, the divination stuff, yeah, that's good. But there's more to magic than those things. You know, there's more to happiness and joy in this planet Earth reality than doing all of the tricks of the craft. It's really about you connecting to who and what you truly are. And as we evolve in consciousness, as many of us evolve in consciousness, the witchcraft path can become more than just bells and whistles, more than just connecting with the spirit world and dealing with things in the mundane sort of sense of magic and those things. It can become a real connection to who and what we truly are on a higher level, which is where we're going as a collective on that conscious level. We are moving more towards discovering who and what we truly are. And magic's not going to be left behind. Witchcraft's not going to be left behind. It's going to move with it because we are magical beings. So have a think about where you doubt yourself, why you doubt yourself, and just know that if this path is a path that you really feel connected to on that spiritual level, then you are a witch. Even if you don't dress a certain way, even if you're having a bad time with your tarot readings at the moment, or you're struggling with your magic, or you're not psychic, you know, you can't speak to the dead that easily, or you don't see, you know, Hecate appearing before you like you would another human being, that you don't, if you don't have those things happening for yourself, doesn't mean you're not a witch. Okay, it doesn't mean that at all. It's much broader than that. Now, I'm not going to say that, you know, some people are going to say that, well, if you're not experiencing those things, then you can't be a witch. There are people who are going to say that, and there's people who will believe that. But the thing is, what do you want to believe about yourself? What do you want to believe about your path? What do you feel and what do you experience? Come back to what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. And if you do need to learn anything, you do feel that you want to know more, learn more, then do just that. Go and source that information out, like join the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, for example. I'm here to help you with all of that. And another good thing about the Academy is not only do you learn about energy work, working with deities, creating a circle, working with the Sabbats, working with the lunar energies, you're also learning to connect to yourself as well, because I do throw in just that little bit of shadow work in the 101 course, just to help you start to really touch base with yourself, because it is about you evolving consciously, that you will realize that you are a witch. If you really connect with it, then, and you practice it, like you practice connecting to nature, you practice connecting to the path of spirit and nature, then you have just as much right to call yourself a witch as anybody else. Okay, So the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, there's a link in the description field below this video for how you can join it. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Sandra for mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.